We're good.
All right, good morning. Welcome everyone to our November the 14th, 2024 Road and Shop Committee meeting. Mr. Bill, could we have a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Spovido.
Here.
Mr. Byrd.
Here.
Mr. Garcia.
Here.
Mr. Taylor. Here. Mr. Chairman, all members of the committee are present.
Thank you, sir. We're going to skip these next two items. We've done had prayer and pledge in our last meeting. Do we need to amend the agenda? Any amendments? All right, moving on. Do I have a motion that we adopt the agenda?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Byrd,
Second.
second by Eric. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries. Public comments. Do we have any public comments? All right. No public comments. Moving on to item 8 to discuss Long Road, the 2025 PTA project. I know we have some ladies here that have some issues, concerns on Long Road. This is while we're talking on this topic. You had some questions about it?
Yes. I see, I looked at that survey that Mr. Bobby gave us, and it's only on part of the road. Did you survey the whole road, or just a section of it?
I don't have it in front of me, so I don't recall off the top of my head.
Well, what you gave me is only up to, the house. But,
Okay.
I don't know if there's a reason why you only went up to the house. I don't know. But you're.
I don't have it in front of me. Do you have it? I can look at it. Damn, all the heat's on me, isn't it?
Spotlight.
Right.
Same copy, isn't that the same copy, I believe?
Yeah. Yeah, this is just 2 copies. Yeah, I don't.
So what's the question here? I mean,
Well, so as I understand, when we talked before, the plan is to asphalt sand the whole road. And well, we heard it suggested before that y'all would only survey half of the road, past the house. And we're concerned about asphalting there through our property because, it's kind of narrow and we're afraid that if you do that, it's going to require ditches. I mean, I brought it up before, but I know you said, well, not necessarily. I mean, I just don't know that for sure. That you won't be requiring the ditches. That would widen the road even more and take more property of ours. And we had suggested before, y'all had at one time, I forgot which year it was, that you put on a bunch of that gravel, that river rock or wash rock, whatever you call it, and that's really the only thing that took care of the dust. And I know what you had said this since then is that it wasn't available, but since the last meeting, I actually called 2 places in Vernon Parish, and they actually had it available. But and I was going to come to the meeting before, and I had the prices and everything, but I didn't bring any of that with me. But I think one of those places don't have it now, but the other place doesn't. But I think it goes by the size of the gravel or something. So I was wondering maybe if you could just gravel that part. I mean, whatever you want to do past the house, if you want to asphalt sand it, because it's nice and wide.
You want me to?
well, our whole concern was to try to kill the dust on y'all. And that's why the conversation started about asphalt or oil sand or whatever, and it was to, help with the dust control on your property. I mean, but if y'all don't prefer to have, if you rather just have a gravel road there, I mean,
It's the way you did it that one year.
When
Yeah.
when y'all put the gravel on, it did take care of that. But the guy come up and started it, loading on the tractor and taking it down to the racetrack. He scooped it up.
Yeah.
And that took the gravel down to the racetrack.
Jerry Brown.
yeah. I mean, and as far as, I mean, which Mr. Hughes is our road superintendent, but if we wanted, to reconsider of oil sanding or asphalting this road and just gravel it through the PTA system, I mean, it's whatever you prefer, but I thought that, the whole issue was to have a good solid road there to kill the dust. Not, and not only on y'all, on the people that's traveling in and out of there all during the night, going back and forth to the races. It would be convenient for them also. So, and that's where the conversation started. So, but go ahead, Mr. Hughes, you got.
Well, and I have some thoughts. I don't understand what is it that you want, because we met out not long ago after a meeting. We went out there and we all met, right?
Right.
And we talked about, you brought up today, you started the meeting talking about that your concerns that it might be too narrow and require ditches. And we were out there and we talked about that. We brought that up and we said that we would be interested in, this is a project that's been scheduled already. It's on the books. It's not something that we're going to just jump out there and do tomorrow. This is something that we tried to plan. We hired a survey. We hired an engineer to perform a survey to get our ducks in a row, to know where our road laid, because you were interested in that. So we stepped up and we did that. I don't know of any other project that we've ever done that for, but we did. And but we were out there and we talked about that we want this to be like any other project. We want it to be a peaceful resolution. We want it to be a job that we're all pleased when we're done with it, right?
Absolutely.
And so we asked y'all about, would you sell us right of way, a little bit of right of way, so we can kind of release from that bottleneck up front and maybe have some ditches. And people that were there, correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I remember it is you were adamant that no, you don't want to have anything to do with that. You want it as it is. And we talked about it at length that day. And your foot was in the sand and said, nope, this is how it is. Not touching an inch of our property. So we, kind of ended our conversation and said, okay, well, we're just going to continue with our plan. And so I've got two more things to say. One is that I don't see, that is a road, and we've had this conversation many times. I get it that y'all have lived there all the time, and that's your property. And I get that sometimes it may be inconvenient having dust. But I also know that the way that I look, and I think that most of us look at road projects is, we've got many, many miles of gravel road in the parish that many people live on, and people deal with dust sometimes. It's just part of life when it's dry. And, these people over here, and I'm not picking on you, I'm just saying these people over here like gray rock. These people over here like white rock. They like limestone. They like granite. These people like wash gravel. Man, it is impossible to please everybody. We try to make sense of what we do. And we have talked about putting wash gravel on that road. We've had many conversations about that. When I got word a couple days ago that we were going to discuss this on the agenda, I drove by there yesterday, and I'm sure you saw me drive down the road. And when I turned from the highway, I just stopped. Kind of as I angled in, I stopped. And I was just going to back up and leave. And then I thought, no. So I videoed the road. Y'all, there's more wash gravel on y'all stretch of road than there is on most parish roads.
Right.
There's, and you acknowledge that. There's no need for another ounce of rock on that road. It would just walk off. People would hit it and rocks would roll. And when we go to overlay that road, all of that loose wash gravel, or not all of it, but what's not compacted, we're going to have to sweep off and have a clean surface to lay down. So we're not about to put any more rock on that road because it would just be wasteful. So I don't know I mean, it's a parish road and it serves people in the parish. I get that you're a resident there and it serves you as well and you're just as important as anyone else. But it's the customers at the end of the road. They have just as much right to travel down a nice road as y'all do. And now to say that why don't we consider leaving the first part gravel and hard surfacing the remainder of the road? I would hope that the parish would never consider that. We had a DEQ complaint filed on us. Y'all filed it against us, which it was warranted. It was dismissed because we proved that we go above and beyond to maintain that piece of road. And so that's part of the reason why we said, 2 years ago, whatever it was, when we put it on the list, is let's plan for an overlay of that road to help y'all. So I'm really baffled at where are we going? I mean, we have a plan to overlay a parish road. And I don't know of anybody that's ever balked at having their road overlaid. So I don't know that I understand the continued conversation about it.
I think, wasn't it when you became superintendent? I believe it was when you became, I think that's when y'all dumped a bunch of gravel on the road. Was it you or right before you? Was it right when you took over, right before?
Ma'am, I don't know, but
I
I know,
exactly.
I don't know, but it's hard to do in the past,
Y'all
but right
put an
now,
incredible amount of gravel.
but right now, it's nothing but wash gravel on the road.
No, it's not. But Jerry Brown took a whole bunch of it, and then the racetrack owner, he had his worker, he actually took it for potholes down the road. I mean, I said, no, don't take this gravel, take all the gravel down the road, you know?
Okay, well,
Because the gravel is different down the road.
just if anybody's interested, that's coming off the highway. I stopped the video.
It's not wash gravel.
It's wash gravel. There's probably some other material in there, but I mean, it's just, it's rock. It's plain enough rock.
And that does help like it is, but.
I tell you, wash gravel is not a good gravel to put in a road. Because it's round, and it's just like a marble. If you set a marble down and you put this piece of paper on it, that marble's gonna roll out from under that paper. Same thing when those cars drive
Anybody else
over
care to see
that gravel rock.
No, I'm good.
We've had the white rock, the gray rock, the black rock, they've had all kinds of rock dumped on that
So they
road.
tried.
More rock than anybody
But
else
this is
has
the
had.
only one that worked.
Okay.
So I have a question. Why would you not want a hard surface road there?
Well,
Yeah, I mean, you would eliminate all of your dust. You would eliminate any more maintenance in there as far as hauling rock and putting there. So I don't understand myself. So,
And it would make your property value
you
go
know,
way up.
so that's what I'm kind of, I
We would
mean,
never have a grader in there again. We would have the
yeah.
right of ways defined by a hard surface road. There wouldn't be any
More
flower
like
beds
the
to worry
most.
about. It would be, I don't understand
Yeah,
what
because
we're talking about.
yeah, your dust control and your motor graders and all that, you wouldn't never see them down there again. Because if you put, I mean, even if you put oil sand, it would still, last you years and years. And I mean, that's what I don't understand.
well, I mean, there are some potholes in that oil sand. And there's some heavy equipment going down the road, not just like customers going to the racetrack. What do you call it, Jones, he owned the racetrack before this guy, and he had a septic service. And he was still doing it here through part of this year, and then he quit for a little bit, but now I'm starting to see it again, so I don't know what the deal is. I don't know, he's partially using that property for it, I don't know. But no, that heavy equipment, the heavy septic tanks.
What is it, the truck with the tank on it?
Oh, it's
Got
more
like
than
2 or 3 septic
there's
tanks on it.
concrete tanks and
It
all the
goes
2
in
and
out
3 at a
there
time.
all the time, so. I mean, it's
Not
gonna
anymore
tear
than
up
trash truck.
blacktop, it's gonna tear up all kinds of stuff.
He probably weighs less than a trash truck. Considerably less.
Well, part of the concern too about hard surfacing, like I said at the start, was I'm concerned that it's gonna require ditches. I mean, there's no ditches now because the whole water runoff situation is perfect. I mean, there's no problems. But if you do that, because of the hard surface, you might have more water once.
How many
It was
inches?
suggested one time at a meeting here, not, prior,
Gonna be
that's what would happen with the hard surfaces. Now, I don't know that, just like to hear it from a professional,
They
Whole
gonna be-
not
yeah.
opinions, but a
Therefore.
professional.
That ain't gonna require no ditch. It ain't gonna be much.
But again,
There's
We-
no
we-
more water gonna come down there with
It's like-
asphalt or oil sand than
Or
what's coming
dirt.
right now.
Like it is right now.
Well, the all sand gonna shed it and put it, it's gonna, what's that, 2 inch?
but again, we made a point to have a meeting out there to discuss this, and you all were adamant, don't want to give up any right of way for us to add ditches.
True.
And so here we are again.
No,
It's
well,
You know.
not the right of way, it's the property. It's the property we don't wanna give up.
Okay, well then I phrased it wrong. Point remains the same. So, and we said we would be willing to buy that, and you were not interested.
But it's just gonna make my property small.
So here we are. So I don't understand the question about ditches. It seems like that we're repeating ourselves, and I don't understand what we're talking about, or what's your issues.
Well, we done talked to an attorney.
Understand?
He's waiting.
Yep.
He's waiting to see what y'all gonna do.
Okay,
And then when the time's he gonna step in,
okay.
because that survey is not right.
yeah, that survey is not right. It's not.
There's an old survey of that property
Had it done.
Yeah, we heard it.
that's gonna come forward.
Yeah, how, is this, did that surveyor tell you this was final?
Who?
Mr. Bobby?
The surveyor.
Did that surveyor tell you this was final, or is she gonna do some more work on this? Because,
Ma'am, again, you're showing me a piece of paper that I don't have my files with me. I didn't know we were gonna do that.
okay. well,
When
we'll
did we
talk
have the
another day
survey
on that.
done?
That's my question.
It's
Showing.
When was the survey done? It's a recent
A
survey.
year ago, maybe.
Year ago?
I don't know, a year ago.
There's,
That falls back on the surveyor if it's not right.
Right.
yeah, it's showing that the road.
Look,
goes,
what he did, this is not anything that's platted. This is not a platted development. This is we all know, it's an old parish road. And and he surveyed property lines, and he laid out where the existing road is. So the existing road is the existing road. The existing road is the parish road, and that
He didn't
tells
even
us
know
where
where
it
the
is.
property line was. He come to us to ask us the property line.
Yeah, we
It's
let
always
them
easy to
stop
start
it.
You
this.
know,
If you're hunting for keys, you might ask the last person that drove the vehicle rather than hunting through the world for it.
He
So
came out, he said he never found it. So we let him walk the property. our
I
property.
can't dispute a survey.
What-
I know where the property line is.
That's awesome.
But this part, well. one
Just
thing
overlay
about
the
this-
road.
Well,
How you doing?
The road-
in our last discussion, when we left, was Mr. Bird, was you part of that?
Yeah.
In our last discussion, as Mr. Hughes said, we decided that day that we're going to asphalt where the edge of the road, what we work now. That's where it's gonna be. Cause, and anything that's hanging over in the road, you said is yours. So, and like I said before, anything that's hanging over in the road, and if there's damage on it, then that's your responsibility, because all we gonna claim is where that asphalt is. So, and that, is that what we discussed?
Now,
So,
keep in mind, I drove through there yesterday. As I drove through, there's a lot of vines. There's a lot of small trees that are growing up, hanging into the road. It's a narrow road. A lot of big vehicles drive down that road. So at some time, I don't know when, but at some time we will come down there.
Well, we've never said y'all couldn't trim the road. We never said that.
And I didn't say that you did, and I want you to acknowledge. And
but
we've talked
if
this
my
before.
point is, if anything on the outside of that blacktop road is yours, why would we go in and cut people's private property if it's yours?
Exactly, but it
Well,
happened.
why would y'all already go in and kill some of the trees on the side of the road? You went in with that thing and knocked holes in it.
Because we hadn't had this, conversation.
No,
yet.
sir. I think what she's talking about is what I'm saying. Right now, there's some small saplings that are growing, and they're hanging over into the road. So people that drive by they hit a vehicle.
So
So
whose,
we will.
whose sapling is it?
Again, now
According
now
to,
we're
according
talking
to,
about property
according
lines.
to what they telling us in our last conversation, y'all saying the trees are y'all.
Well, I'll tell you this, where we
So
went
the
out,
saplings are y'all.
Sure, and besides that, they're way over 10 years old. I mean,
Okay.
anything.
So in other words, if
They're like
if
30,
those
40
trees
years
are up, say like 10 feet and the limbs are hanging over, I mean, what am I, you mean I'm responsible for them limbs hanging
If
over?
that's
that
your
road?
tree, you telling us we don't have a right of way there.
Would y'all ask to come trim?
You have a right to.
But
trim
not,
tree
but not
branches,
after this
don't you?
conversation we want.
no, sir,
No,
no,
you have the right
let's
to
back up,
trim it.
because we're getting a little off. I need something,
I don't
I need something,
understand.
I need something acknowledged. From the highway to the end of your picket fence, you know what I'm talking about, right?
From the highway to the end of the house property, yeah.
Yeah, to where you put the Chihuahua sign, remember?
Right.
Okay. Anytime okay, I'm not gonna say anytime because we might go back 10 years in this, but most every time in recent history that we've come in there and trimmed, we came in there by hand. We sent a crew in there. Would you agree? Very respectfully. I've come out there and walked with you and you said, hey, this is, I don't know the names of your plants, but these are plants that are medicinal and special to us. And we've respected that. One time, one of the guys on the crew he did cut a tree incorrectly. And I apologize for that and said, I'll buy you a new tree, right? But y'all didn't accept that. You didn't feel that was necessary. But, so we've always been accommodating and try to be very respectful. And all I'm saying, and we talked about this, the day we acknowledged this and we got a shovel and we put it in the ground. The area that we seem to dispute, and Lord, I'm not trying to go back in time and do this again, but anytime that we were there, I peeled back the grass and found the edge of the existing road underneath the grass. I put a flag there and I went down and found the other end of it. I put a flag there. We looked at that when we were there that day, but we had a grader out there. That's what we defined. And he set the edge of the grader blade right there and he walked it down that way and he cleared all the overgrowth on existing asphalt. It might have been oil sand, but whatever hard surface it was from years ago. And that, from that edge of the road to the other side, and we went out there the other day and put our feet down and said, this is it. So what I'm talking about, the 6 inches or 8 inches or maybe even 10 inches of grass that's between that edge of the road and your picket fence, right? You with me? There's some small saplings growing in there. Nothing outrageous, but there's some small saplings. I'm gonna call them saplings because it's not a weed, but it's kind of growing out into the road. We've addressed that little 10-inch area many times. I'm just saying that when whatever you have growing in there, when it grows out into the road, we're gonna trim it to keep that. Okay.
What are you calling 10 inches? 10 inches of what? You
You
calling
don't-
10
you-
inches
are
of
you
the
with me?
hard surface?
Yeah, you more than welcome.
Okay.
If I'm sticking out in the road, I don't mind.
Okay.
Okay. She's talking about front of the house.
Done deal.
She's talking about
No, you don't, you
10
with me.
inches.
You with me.
I understand, but there's no saplings in front of the house.
I said the part down by the picket fence, that house, the very last
Yeah.
piece.
Sure, yeah,
Okay.
it's something in the road, you can cut it.
But
I didn't disagree with y'all on that.
But the thing we need to clarify too, like even the survey shows that we don't own anything across the road, in front of the house. And that's not true. I mean, that's why
Okay.
the survey's way.
We have a
Our
road
property
defined,
is way-
It's just,
and we are gonna overlay. We have a plan to overlay what's there. And that's what we're gonna do, correct? Okay,
what's there.
yes. What's there,
But, and then.
edge to edge.
and then
We
you
don't
got-
have any additional right of way purchased from you to do anything else, to widen that area or to do anything. So we're gonna deal with what's there.
I think we can deal with that if it's only that, right?
Okay,
I think so.
that's where we
Okay.
left it a few months ago.
Yeah,
Is that-
last time we
That's
stood on
what
the road.
that's what's budgeted.
Right. And that's what we're gonna do.
Okay, but we want to be clear too about where you're calling in front of the house, that picket fence, which we did talk about on the road, but we did talk about it before that, y'all went on the road. It's hard to like describe it without being on the road.
We all know what you're
Y'all
talking
that were there
about. We got
know,
it.
but I just want to bring it up in this meeting again. And y'all had agreed that day that you were on the road, you know, that right there where you scraped
Mhm.
the 10 inches off the hard surface, which is, I think it was about 10 inches. I mean, yeah, that's part of the road.
Mhm.
That's, okay, but those stakes that you removed, the metal stakes with the barricade to keep traffic off, we used to have to keep off grass signs, the police here respected it for all these years until what, that year, what was it, last year or year before? You pulled all the metal stakes up, and then that allowed the traffic to trample on there. And so we do, and y'all had agreed that we could go ahead and do whatever we had to do to protect that, which, I had done my flowers yet, so busy, but anyway, I just want to bring it up again. So that is ours, even though the picket fence is over here, we had two fences, the privacy fence and the barricade, to keep the traffic off our grass. And we put the picket fence there for a reason. Anyway, and then on the other side of the road, there's no fence, where all the line of trees are. Okay, you said you respect, you want to trim the trees, okay? You can trim the branches hanging over the road, but don't be touching the tree trunks like you did that year.
And I said, the guys cut one tree, they made a mistake. And they came back and told me, and I came and talked
But
to y'all
the
and
big
said,
trees in front of the house, when that thing came in cutting the limbs and stuff,
They go
it
down
hit
there.
it, and there's proof of it right now where it hit it and it killed the tree. Okay, if you kill the tree, am I responsible for getting rid of that tree because you killed it?
I don't know what tree we're talking about.
When you
I don't know.
when you did all that, year, that was the year you brought the officers out 3 times, and I just don't know why. I think you told the jury that I laid in the road. I never did lay in the road.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, that 3rd time, okay, y'all brought that bush hog that goes up in there, and it's a whole line of trees. I forgot how many trees, 10 trees or so. You did a lot of damage to the tree trunks. I mean, it wasn't you, it was your worker, it was under you. And I took pictures of every single mark. There were fresh marks, the bark, the scrape. I mean, you shouldn't. Those trees are not yours. Those trees are not yours. The
Okay.
branches, you know.
If
I
the
understand
branches
what
are hanging
you're
over into the road,
saying. Right. I
we
have
have
no
a
problem.
responsibility to
I have
clear
no
them.
problem with that.
Right.
Yes.
But he went
I
beyond,
agree.
he went down the other side of the tree trunk and hit the tree trunk several times. I mean, that's a risk.
I don't know
Okay,
about that.
please don't do that again.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah, I understand. You have to do that. So,
Right.
Okay.
so, I mean, I'm gonna also, like I said, do my flower bed again when I get the time. I'm gonna do that right there in front of that picket fence up to where the barricade was. So, and that's another reason why this survey doesn't show that. He did that after he pulled up the service. Put our 2 cents in.
Okay. Anything else? Comments? All right. All right, item, what are we on, number 9?
Number 9.
Discuss approving was it memorandum on, the acceptance of the parish roads and or related activity until further notice.
So we have, this was kind of just putting a pause, kind of hitting the pause button on acceptance of any
Yeah,
roads
yeah,
or
okay.
any new, developments or anything like that. I'm not saying we'll never do it or not. This is not meant to be a long-term thing. It was requested to put it on here and kind of just, pause any decisions until we get our road ordinance.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what are we calling it? Our
Yeah.
policies in place. And we're going to discuss that later today and we're going to vote on it next week, I hope. And if you approve it, then this would be a very short-lived item, but we'd like it all.
Are you stopping subdivisions is what you want to do, or just?
We're not stopping subdivision, just any action that would accept a developed road.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in other words, they could put a private road in, you just don't want any more parish roads.
Right.
It's not that we don't want it, and we're not trying to prevent right now. We're just
Not accepting.
we're updating some of our policies and procedures.
Right.
So until we get that finished, we want to have a jury approved item that officially recognizes that we're just taking a pause right now.
We're not accepting any more roads until we get these
But
new ones in.
If someone
Said-
wants to divide their land and put a private road in.
Oh, that's, I mean, yeah, that's.
Well, but we're pausing everything until next week. The jury's gonna, I call our subdivision planning policy, you know, our development policy that we give out to developers, right? Right?
Regulation.
Yes, yes. We've made made some changes in there,
Okay.
and that's gonna be approved, hopefully next week. So after,
What kind of changes?
we'll talk about that later in the meeting.
They on here, we're gonna talk about that.
That's why you're here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
We're gonna talk
All right.
about that.
Nothing
No,
outrageous.
well, there's nothing going on right now anyway.
So we're just taking us,
We're fine on that.
this probably will be over as soon as it starts, but we need to make sure that we have to have a pause.
Yeah. So I need a motion on this item,
Mhm.
Bill.
I'll make a
I'll
I
motion.
think most recommend, like, adopting a moratorium on the
Okay.
acceptance of parish roads.
All right, I got a motion by who's that? Bruce,
Second.
second by Bird.
Well, you ain't got nobody that's getting held up right now.
No, no,
All in favor?
Uh,
All opposed? All right, motion carries.
but we just have something official in place to say what, if anything comes up.
All right. Moving on to item 10 is to review and discuss draft of ordinance number 6 of 2024 and ordinance for roads, bridges, and ditches.
We
And y'all
discussed,
should have this.
and we discussed this already last time.
Yes.
This is just, it really didn't need to be on here, but it's going to be presented to the jury, so just for official approval. This is our road ordinance, and we've shortened it by at least half. We got a lot of unnecessary language that was in there, and we added a few things, but we discussed this last road and shop, and everybody's good with it. And the only
Have y'all guys read this? Y'all,
I've read it, and I forgot it.
okay.
I
I
got
want to make sure everybody's read it.
I got one thing.
Okay.
Here, well, you got 92,000 pounds
On the third
Okay.
page,
on the third page.
Okay, so what that's saying is that we didn't have it, our old ordinance wasn't worded really, really well. It wasn't very clear. So we're saying in item number 1, vehicles or combination of vehicles operating with a weight greater than 92,000 pounds, right? And 92,000 pounds is the highest weight that we're going to allow people to haul. That's what it's saying, right?
You gotta have a special harvest permit
Right.
to go that one.
Well, we're going to get, we'll get,
88 is the extent of the special harvest, isn't it?
it's so since our last meeting, I met with I call them weights and measures guys, highway patrol, whatever their division is called.
Guilty.
And there is a permit that will allow up to 92. So this is 92. So we might have some instances where people with certain permits will allow up to that. But really, all this is saying is that we're not going to let anybody greater than 92 run our roads. If it's a big rig and they're moving in, they're going to have to dismantle it and bring it in pieces. And anybody,
To run 92,000, you're gonna run a third axle on the truck and a third axle on the trailer, right?
The big league.
be legal,
They don't
but
do it.
I mean.
No, and
this jury,
it's gonna come out of their way in that too.
but we're not talking about logs here. We're not talking about logs. We're talking about big rig moves.
Rigs.
This is big, heavy traffic.
They're normally gonna be set up for it.
Well, we've had some
Necessarily.
200,000 pound loads coming through
Yes.
here before.
Had
This is
18
not-
I had one had 18 axles on it.
I have that,
That's a
I have
train.
that regularly.
Yeah.
So on
You gotta-
this, so
you
number
gotta come in
1
next
don't
week.
refer to the loggers.
No, it doesn't.
No.
No, it doesn't. That's why
Keep
in bold,
overloaded.
Okay.
Unless you got a log truck and you got 2 trailers hooked up to it, but you ain't gonna be able to get in the mill with it.
and the mills won't accept anything like
Right.
that. Will they?
Except up to 100, don't
At different places.
Well-
I mean, several of them's 90, 92.
This is not what that's about.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, but
And
that's
it
gonna be the
says-
same thing like with the banking stuff. When this hits it, it's
And
gonna go.
And look, when it does, all you got to say to anybody that's going to balk is that what have we ever done?
'Cause I know I don't know how news travels, but it's 17 past.
Yeah, I'm all gonna get
Before I get to my vehicle, my left gonna be burning. What did y'all do?
That,
So That's why it says in bold, any violation of this provision.
Okay, so you're gonna stand behind me when that's not for a law.
We've never hit a logger.
Okay.
We've never done that. That's not,
Loggers ain't gonna hardly have that on there, no way.
and we haven't hit anyone hard, but we need something in place.
You got to have a number.
Should
yeah.
something come out that's glaringly obvious that we have to deal with, we
Yeah.
need something in place to deal with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So again, that's why it says in bold, any violation of this provision, just number one, shall be fined $1,000 per incident. If we find somebody $1,000, they've earned it, you know? We're not just gonna go stop somebody and say, you know, let's check him, and if he's a little over, write him $1,000 ticket. But there have been times when we've had, Bird's had a lot of them, we've had big moves like that, and we can't
And
do
we're gonna
anything,
have more of them if they drill it.
right?
No,
Right.
they sit and
And it's
conduct
coming.
the pipe on-
That,
It's coming.
Yeah, they sit and conduct the pipe right now on.
That's why I'm
two
glad that.
different pads.
well,
I'm
up
glad
there,
them last wells is off the highway. I won't have to worry about
well, on Old Camp, they got a big pad. They said 7 wells there in that one pad.
Yeah, they coming in off of Santos there. They crossing over Old Camp one spot.
Item two.
They
I don't know, I got the third pipeline starting up.
They hauling some pipe in it.
Which
All right, on this, on number 10 there, so what we need to do on this item?
This
Is it Troy?
Troy, I think.
We need to make a recommendation on this or what?
Well, you're gonna make a recommendation to the jury next week.
To
We introduced it last
introduce
month,
it, so
This
it'll be
fund
next-
started.
We'll be
in
adopting
Hare
next
Loop. It's a bunch
Yes,
coming from the
Yes.
north to Hare Loop.
So, y'all good?
Yeah.
You good? Y'all need more time to read this?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So is that a motion?
Yeah, that's the motion.
Got a motion by Bird,
Let them call me.
got a second by Bruce. Oh, Bruce. All in favor? All opposed? All right,
Here, go on, put a bow in the post.
all right. Review and item number 11 is to review and discuss drafts of ordinance 7 of 2024 and ordinance to amend ordinance 3 of 1992, rules and regulations for subdivisions of land in Sabine Parish.
So the same thing, we went through this last road and shop, and the changes that we've made, and Pete, I'll give you this, is under the street design standards. You know, we've talked about adding something specific in there about types of material, right? That we had to change. So in the street design standards, we changed item 3 to say all streets shall be either paved or surfaced with a minimum of 6 inches of compacted limestone, rhyolite, or novaculite after the road has been proof rolled with a loaded tandem truck to locate and repair soft spots in the road prior to laydown of materials. So what we're doing is we're giving something specific to types of material that we would like on our road. So no more black rock.
So you want all paved roads?
Nope.
No.
We want, they can they shall be either paved
Okay.
or surfaced with X. And we specify what is
Kind of rock.
acceptable. Yep.
Just
That's
no
all we
black
did.
rock.
Right.
Because that's what we're trying to do on our roads.
In other words,
And
if
we-
you're gonna go to Arkansas rock or
We're
whatever.
getting one of these 3 types. It's going to be either great limestone, it's going to be limestone or gray rock, which you can get
Right.
rhyolite from Prairie,
Rock,
you can get novaculite from Madden.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the same rock.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yep.
they call it different. And then we
I
have,
can see we run that.
The dates are
I
signed.
understand that. Now, we do have to put in, you know, because if someone does a private road, they
It's
can do
gray
whatever
rock,
they
not
want.
white rock.
They can't do
That's
whatever
right.
they care.
this is just for parish roads. This is just for roads.
Yep. Yeah, that's fine. I agree with that.
If they're gonna, if it's always going to be, they can develop what they want, but if they have the intention of this becoming a parish road, then they need to know up front what we're going to require.
That's fine. It should be.
And then below that, wearing surface on paved streets, right? After a thoroughly compacted base has been established, a 2-inch asphalt concrete mix or better wearing surface shall be applied. I think in here it said 1.5 inches. So So we just changed it to 2 inches.
I know what we got. Well, that's,
You got the guy
that's
down
very
there.
reasonable.
And then we added, under number 4, we added 4A. And 4A says that no road will be accepted until there has been an 80% build out.
Come do it.
So it's a subdivision, Pleasure Estates, for example.
Right,
They've got 2 roads in there,
yeah,
but they don't have, I don't even know if they have lots sold,
probably not.
but they don't have houses built.
Yeah,
We're,
in other words, no more 2 years.
No more 2 year.
You gotta sell 80% of
80%
your lots.
build out because we don't want to accept and maintain construction roads.
Okay,
So those are the changes that have been made
Right.
here.
okay. I can see that.
So that's that.
And the deal with the rock is you can't, the black rock,
Yeah, it just disintegrates and melts.
well, not only that, it has so much salt in it that you can't lay asphalt. You're not, I mean, when I took my contractor's test,
Well-
there was 2 kinds of rock that couldn't tie into a state highway. And one was that Texas black rock and one was that Winfield wind rock
Well,
because of the salt content in it and it kills the asphalt.
right, the wind rock I can see, but the black rock, I don't believe because Water's Edge, how many years older than roads? Now, they were paved 22 years ago over black rock and they held up probably better than half the roads in the parish. That was it.
We put 3x5 on my truck yard up where, when they were hauling the pipeline mats in there. And I promise you, it was 3x5 black rock. And you go in there now, there ain't a piece of rock on that yard that big around from
Oh,
where it's
yeah.
broke and crumbled or washed,
Right, the
rain
black
soaked
rock.
it
Oh,
away.
yeah, that I believe.
Mhm.
But the black rock ain't what it used to be.
No,
No.
it's not.
Nothing is because they're getting deeper in it and
Yeah.
So, and saying, so I know the changes. Y'all got any questions on any of the changes? Pete, do you have any questions on any of those changes since you're,
I agree with you on that. I'll just get a copy of that
okay.
from Bobby
All right, so, I'm gonna need a motion on this item.
And you want, this just shows my changes, so you don't have to dig through.
I got a motion by Bruce and a second by Eric to make the recommendation of, amending these ordinances. All in favor? All opposed? All right,
No, we've been talking about that for years, so we're finally doing it.
we getting closer.
You happy?
We getting closer.
Huh?
You happy now?
Yeah. Yeah, oh,
And believe it or not, it was some work in that, and it was some thoughts,
you
and it was
bet.
some hours spent on that.
Yeah.
And, we covered a lot of that in our little workshops, and, we want what all is best for us and for the people.
yeah, that's what I'm
You
saying.
know,
We,
know,
this is not something we're just
right.
willy-nilly making a change. We put some thought into it because we understand the implication it's gonna have on development.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
All right, and item 12, then, we're gonna move on to review and discuss draft policies for culvert installation, school bus turnarounds, and corporate endeavor agreements.
We talked about these two. This is just part of this packet of changes that we're getting the jury to officially approve. Everything's really the same. Culverts, same thing we do. It's just writing down what we do, so we have a written record of our policy.
And on these bus turnarounds, we still have to have that request come from the school board for each and every one, right?
Right.
So that hadn't changed any, so there's nothing different on that. So I need a motion on this item.
To adopt the resolution.
Yeah,
I make that motion.
I got a motion by Bird.
Second.
I got a second by Eric. All in favor? All opposed? All right, we will make that recommendation.
I will say this, we had, remember our little form that we had, Kenneth called a rubric,
Yeah.
that we used, I just like his word, that we used as kind of a worksheet, similarly to what maybe y'all did for the bank, right?
Yeah.
We presented that to y'all last month as part of this packet.
Yeah.
But Allie and I talked, and really that's more of just an in-house form that we use. just a checklist. So we didn't figure it needed to be in here as a policy or
Right,
anything
right.
approved by the jury.
Right.
Just a little worksheet that we
But it
use.
went
So
along with the policy that y'all adopted last meeting.
But that's
Like
what,
roads.
that's
just a
what he
worksheet.
goes, that's his worksheet,
That's
what
just
he
a little
goes
worksheet.
by.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So we didn't,
To meet the
you
policy.
saw it last month, but
Yeah.
that's why it's not in
Yeah.
here now.
And all that does is your worksheet to find, to
Something we can use
look
to
at the
talk.
policy to
Something we can
see.
use to talk.
Yeah.
We'll checklist.
All right. Moving on to item 13 is discuss Harvey subdivision.
Yeah, we talked about that. That's the one that, this one little road, and I don't know, have y'all had time to do anything with that?
No.
Okay, so can we just postpone that till next month?
Yes.
We gonna
That'd
table
be
it?
Great. That's the one I need to get the,
Yeah, that's
legal description.
I have a motion by Byrd and a second by Bruce to table this item.
That'll work.
All in favor?
Uh,
All opposed? All right, item 14 is to discuss Pleasure Estates.
Pleasure Estates, we're gonna just postpone that because we're gonna vote on having a moratorium on that. They just wanted to begin their 2-year clock. So we're changing our policy from what it was before, as just a 2-year clock, to we're having something different. So can we postpone this until next month?
All right, I got a motion by Eric and a second by Byrd to table this item. All in favor? All opposed? That's all right with y'all. ain't it? All right, item 15 is discuss planning commission. I didn't see that on here. Do we need to go into executive session on this? Or no?
Well, we don't have it on our agenda,
Okay,
so
all
we're
right,
doing it.
okay. We can't say it.
No.
You have to keep me lined out on this now. All right, planning commission. Over the past few years, Pete, and like I said, it's nothing personal, by no means, it's nothing personal. Only person I know of planning commission is you.
Right.
I don't know none of the other members,
Mhm.
never met any of the other members, but, here, I'm gonna say last year, I had a project that started in my district. And which I know the planning commission is not required to tell a juror or anybody anything. But nevertheless, that project started and I watched a whole, I want to say it's a 40-stall RV park get put in my district. I watched it from the timber was cut till it was hauled, till a culvert was set on a parish road that didn't notify none of us, our road foreman or road superintendent, about it. And then when it gets down to it, they find out that they don't have the water to supply this RV park. So now the water department is struggling, trying to supply it water. But to me, the planning commission and other people should have been, in my opinion, should have been involved in this. Besides, nobody even know what's going on.
Well, when it came to RV parks and that, the state cut us out. That was never any of our planning commission, ever on the planning commission in the regulations. In other words, like the RV park has to go through the state of Louisiana. It depends on which office, most likely Shreveport, but if it's on the other side, then it goes to Baton Rouge and goes through the health department. And
So they just bypassed the parish?
They bypass the parish. Unless you guys want to put a new ordinance in that anything like that, it's just like the piece down on Highway 6 and 191. There's no contact with the planning commission on that either.
Well, see, to me,
They should be.
it should be because it's all in communication and you're bringing, in which we invite all businesses and all stuff. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but still yet, at some point, Shouldn't your 911 people be involved in this? Shouldn't your water people? Yeah.
How do you,
I'm still in.
how do you know you have sufficient water for that
Yes,
So
sir.
do we have an
establishment and
ordinance?
firefighting?
Not that I'm aware of, but we can sure have one.
Well, we need one.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea to put an ordinance in there that any development has to come through.
Yes.
That water system can't handle that. That one out there can't handle that.
Well,
They said they can.
so
They told the developer they can.
Well, they can't. You know that as well as I do.
I know.
so what you're saying, Pete, is that we don't have an ordinance in place for that.
Exactly. As far as
So if we had an ordinance in place for, I'm gonna just say RV parks,
residential development.
you know,
There is no, technically in Sabine Parish, there is no commercial property unless you're within the city limits of a town. Because the jury did away with commercial, never wanted zoning.
zoning, right?
So that's why it's the planning commission. Years ago, when we first came here, it was called the planning and zoning. And some people, I won't say any names, but they got carried away with it. And they disbanded the whole thing. And that's how I ended up here. Because they didn't want, because they were actually hindering development with some of their requirements of that.
Right.
And at that time, you did away with commercial, but when it comes into commercial, there's nothing there, but there should be something there. If you pass an ordinance where it has to come through any development of land, this way we do know what's going on, because I'm just like you guys. When something like that happens, I hear it on the street, and there's nothing I can do about it because it's already in progress with the state.
Right. And to that, and they came in, which they did a great job on setting the cover. They had some people from out of state come and set the cover, but still, yet you're putting a cover on a public road that we knew nothing about.
Right.
They didn't ask for the requirements. They didn't ask for what size it needed to be, how long it needed to be. There was no guidelines, so they just
Did what they want.
they did what they want to. It's free range,
And that's not right.
And so somebody in our parish government should have been notified.
Right.
To where, communications is the best tool it is.
Right.
But that was just my thoughts on that. So
Right.
I think if it's, I think we need to get an ordinance in place for that. To where, at least our road superintendent will know what's going on.
Well, if I hear something, I try to tell Bobby and I try to tell the developers, you gotta go through Bobby, when you're developing a piece.
Right.
Because you can't, like you said, you can't have someone go there and put a 10-inch culvert in and give you a 48-inch culvert. And
Exactly.
sort everything else out.
Exactly.
But
Right.
no, and that's why on these trailer parks now, we won't hear them.
No, it could be.
Or we're gonna have ordinance for it, type, isn't it?
I think I think we should have one ordinance that covers everything. Could we do that?
Mhm.
To cover what you're saying, residential,
Commercial and RV.
commercial and RV parks,
Covers any development.
any development.
Right, an ordinance that anyone developing land needs to be notified. to the
Right.
Proper authority.
Right. And it's just good communications is all it is. I mean, you know what's going on,
Right.
It's like if somebody.
even if the guy and look, I welcome anything to Sabine Parish and to the lake or
Right.
growth. But, it might have worked out in our benefit because if the guy knew he couldn't get water supplied, he might not would have built the RV park there. But
Well, are you talking about the one on the left?
Yeah, on the left side, yeah.
They built 10, 15 years ago?
no, this year's recently. This is one at Rec Site 4 at the gate right there on the left.
Oh, okay.
He's got I want to say it's 40 stalls. A very nice place.
But no water.
Well, they struggling.
Water, but
They struggling to get it for him.
But, that's the thing too, as a developer, they should check into the water, but these realtors don't tell them that.
Right.
I've had people call me up
Yeah.
on raw land, and I tell
They
them. you
ain't
better
gonna
check
tell
in-
them they wanna sell the land.
Right.
Yeah. And I tell them, you better check into what your amenities are out there, because I had had someone else wanting to do something. I said, you better check, there's nothing out there. What do you mean? They said everything's there. I said, not that I know of. You know, and that's the problem. You're right, exactly. They just look to make the money and sell the land, and they don't care what they do to the people.
They just keep passing it down till it comes to a block.
And the state doesn't help us any. It's just like we should have had 2 other gas stations down on Highway 6. The people gave up on them because 5 years trying to get a sewer permit. That's what this gentleman's doing now with that big gas station. He's going through trying to get a sewer permit on that. And what his problem is, though, he keeps changing the criteria, so they keep making him have to go through the engineer again.
Right.
But I did hear that they pulled permits for a Whataburger, Quiznos Sub, and a daiquiri shop in the strip mall. Right now, they're working on those permits with the state. So hopefully, something does come to the good on that.
I hope they upgrade that.
Well,
water
like I
plant.
said, and on this one deal, like I said, I say it again, I just think it's good communication, good business, that everybody's aware of what's going on, any business that's coming to the parish. And Mr. Bill, and Miss Allie, they'll be working or finding get us an ordinance for that.
And then we put it right into the plan, regulations.
Yes,
And have that
yes.
in the new regulations too. I think that's the best thing to
Yes.
do because it's in writing, because I do tell everyone you have to come and get a copy of the
Right.
regulations from the Bureau of Law.
Right. All right. Is there anything else you want to discuss in this? Anybody questions? All right.
We need a resolution to introduce an ordinance for commercial residential and RV and other developments in the parish.
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion by Byrd,
Second.
got a second by Eric. All in favor? All opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, item 16, moving on to discuss enterprise truck replacements.
Okay, so however long ago we entered into our enterprise deal, we have, 2 meetings a year, 2 official sit-down meetings with them, and we kind of go over where we're at with all of our vehicles. Well, it's time to start the discussion on what vehicles we're going to replace. And they gave us 7, 8, 9 vehicles to look at something. And Bill and I talked about it, and we could replace all of them, and we could probably get some money back out of it. But some of those are trucks rigged out with flatbeds. They've got they're crew trucks. They're rigged out, and even if we get a great price on them, we still have the expense of disassembling those, putting all that material on a new truck, and it may or may not be the same truck. There's just a lot of cost in that. So I hope that we can just, and our trucks don't have a lot of miles on them. So I hope we can.
What do you call a lot of miles? 50, 60?
Some of them may have less than that. We've got one that's got 13,000, So we would like the majority of our trucks just leave as it is. It doesn't make sense to do that. Got 3 trucks that I would like to discuss. And we talked about that some of the trucks that we own that aren't lease trucks, those are also considered part of this plan, right?
Right.
And they can sell those trucks for us and apply that to a new truck. So there's 3 trucks I would like to look at. They're the 2 enforcement trucks, and those are both 2019, and they have about, I think one has 139, one has 152, something like that. So they're about 150,000 miles. They've been ridden rough, so I'd like to look at those 2. I've got proposals on them. So what he shared with me, now he put in here that both trucks he'd get $16,500 a piece for. And but he put in here on his estimate, I guess he thought we would want to put, I don't know what we would want to do. My thought would be if we're gonna get 16.5 for, let's put 16.5 back on the new truck, right? And reduce it by that. But he put in on his estimates that we would put 10,000 apiece on a new truck and keep some of the money in the bank. But that, so his estimate includes that. So
What's the estimate? Who's that coming from?
enterprise. So anyway,
That's his lease truck.
What's the third one?
and the third truck,
Oh, these are
These
leased.
are leased.
I'm waiting to everybody listen.
2 enforcement trucks are leased.
No,
No.
Oh, we
those
own
are
these?
we own those.
We own
Yeah. All three trucks that we're talking today, we own.
Okay, so they're going to, pretty much what you're saying is they're gonna sell them for us.
Yes, yeah.
They're gonna trade them in for us.
I don't know.
However the
I don't know how they do it. but
Okay, so what are we gonna get in replace? We're gonna have to go to one of their lease trucks?
Yes, two.
We
Look,
don't have to.
we can buy a truck. We can, whatever we want to do. But this is the enterprise. This is the first time that we have sat down since jumping into this program, that we're sitting down looking at how are we going to play this out.
Right.
So do we want to continue in an enterprise program? To me, I think the prices that they gave us it's more than I thought it would be. But that's not the only consideration, I think. Do we want to keep?
Four-wheel drive truck?
We could resell that truck for that, I don't think.
Might not be able to.
We sure could get it on trade.
No. No.
You said there's three. There's
Yeah.
two enforcement trucks. What was the third one?
The third truck is my truck, and we've
How many miles on it?
150. So,
So they all 150.
And they the transmission.
well, and so from day one, that I can't say day one, but right up front, I remember walking out of here in the very beginning, and my truck was parked right here, and Dustin said, "Whose truck is that?" And I said, "Well, that's mine." He said, "That I want to follow that truck." Right. And that's what I've been wanting to do, because not saying my truck is perfect, but it's been probably better kept than the enforcement trucks. Right. So I said, well, just tell me when the prime time is, because I wanted that in my mind just to be an example of where we're going to be on these prices. Well, my truck's getting up there in miles. I've got transmission issues. I talked to Bird knows, because we were in Mississippi together on it, and we didn't think we were going to make it back. We've since had a service done to it that's, I think, prolonging the life of it, but it is what it is. It's still there. Talked to Bison about it. He's not here, but he recommended, let's see what we can do. So I got that as a proposal. Well, they're going to give us $20,000 on that truck. So that's, what do we do?
Have we,
Are we going to put another 10 in it with a transmission? And are we going to take advantage of an opportunity to get out of something and into something else?
So explain to me, so they're going to give us, I'm going to use that term, say they're going to give you 20,000 for your truck.
Mhm.
That's what they said. So, but they're going to turn around and put you in a lease truck. So we're
Yes.
going to be back on this lease program.
Yes. But that's what we signed up to do, right? Back with Enterprise.
So does the
And this is,
lease actually work out better deal for us than the actual
purchase,
purchasing a vehicle? When it's all said and done? I know we'll get more money for it and
We don't know yet because we've not turned in a leased truck.
but these aren't leased trucks.
These are our trucks.
Yeah.
Do we have a leased pickup that's got high mileage on it?
no, not that, I mean, we can do it, but I would rather not right now. We're okay with them. Maybe we might look at it next year, but
So I want to look at it right now. I think that we need to probably go ahead and do it. Turn them in and release them, and then whenever we get one that we're ready to turn in, then we can see what the leases are going to do.
But with the numbers that they provided us on this, I thought they were impressive numbers, better than I thought it would be.
They're all
Do
right.
you agree?
Yeah. I know this, that DeSoto Parish has been in it a long time, and they staying in it. I can't believe, that they're staying in this lease agreement with Steve and that bunch if it wasn't profitable to the parish.
So they with the program.
They've got 30 or 40 leased. They've got a lot of vehicles leased.
And with this, it allows us to oil changes. We go get our oil changes done. And that's built into the cost of the program.
Where do you take them to get the oil change?
We can either go to Mark's or we can go to Buddy's. Those are the two places here in town that accept it.
Well, all services too on these lease vehicles gonna be.
We've had a couple of, what I think just maybe 2 claims that we had to pay for.
Yeah, I think the last one was that water damage.
Water damage.
It wasn't water
Trucks.
damage, but they
And then one was wrecked. When we
Yeah,
after the first guy.
the oil's right as the
So as far as the vehicles that we have leased now, we've had good experience with it. We've had a good.
Yeah, we've got one yesterday that we had a torque converter issue with, and it's, we probably don't even have an estimate on it yet, but I mean, it's like it's a vehicle. We're gonna have problems, but
Oh, yeah.
we've not had anything.
So under
that's
the
really
lease
messed us
program,
up.
when you have those issues, they take care of that.
Mhm. They have like I'm calling claims adjuster that handles it with the shop. We don't do anything except sit back and wait to see, is it a covered item or is it not? And like the deal he's talking about on Sonny's truck that had the water damage, I got involved in it because I still to this day don't believe that it was water damage, but I wasn't able to convince them, so we had to pay for it.
So, do they say if we have a truck that has an issue and they have to work on it, do they give us something in replace of that truck?
It'd be just like we put in our shop.
Okay.
No, there's not a enterprise rental around here. We just take it to either Mark's or Buddy's and they work on it. And,
Okay, so your local people work on it.
yeah, that's what we do. We take
Okay,
both
they
places.
don't have nobody comes and picks it
No.
up, and takes it
No,
to
no,
the
no.
shop. We do it local.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
We're paying now, what, about $1,062, $1,090, something
Somewhere
like
like
that
that for truck.
per truck. You know, if we bought one, we'd probably paying about that much in a note.
And see, the projected rental that he has on this is 700 for one, and then the other one, I guess the number would change with the.
Is that applying the full 20,000 and 16,500
Only
for the
other thing
vehicle?
you could do.
That's applying the full amount for the new vehicle?
Is get estimates from the 3
No,
dealers.
that's
huh?
just with the 10, so it
Okay.
would probably lower
It'd
with
be
the full
lower,
amount.
right.
We could do that.
Buying one, just buying them,
Yeah,
replacing
see
them.
how it comes out with
What
just
the-
trading them in.
Trade in, you know.
But trade in.
But we're not gonna
Trade,
get a
I don't
resale
think you'll get
value.
half
No,
of
you
what
won't
you're
get
gonna get.
No, you might get 5 a truck.
Yeah.
No.
And are they gonna replace those vehicles with kind of the same?
Exactly the same, exactly the
Okay.
same, yeah. Well, the only difference, the enforcement trucks, the trucks we have now are cab and a half, right? And those guys they live out of those trucks, so I got 4 door. I expect 4 door,
They
cab
need
and a half.
They
Yeah,
need
so that's the only difference.
Well, it sounds like to me, it sounds like it'd probably be our best option.
I
But
think
we
so.
really don't know until,
Not until we sell them, but, you know, my recommendation to y'all right now is to go ahead and let them take the amounts, the 16,500 and 20,000, apply it to the new vehicles and enter into leases for the 3 new vehicles. Because I think we're gonna come out
Do
on it.
it for 18 and 22.
Hey, this is
18
what
a
you get
vehicle
on
and 22.
the east
and
side of
it'll be done deal.
Mississippi, and that truck, Bobby truck like you run over something in the road,
Mhm.
and it ain't nothing there. I asked him, I said, this thing quit. How we gonna get back to Louisiana?
I'll let Uber at it.
He said, we'll call Allie.
I would've called.
So look at the time me and you were rolling.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was 30 miles from Alabama. I would've went to Alabama that.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what's your
right.
thoughts,
That was
Bob?
brand new then.
Good with?
Yeah.
All right, well. Give
Since
me
y'all
a,
talking about that, I guess I have to get roadside assistance for y'all.
You need to. We ain't going up on that.
If you rode to Mississippi with Bobby, you're a brave man anyway.
Hey, I went.
But on this enterprise, they should just set you back up and send you on. You'd have been on your way. You wouldn't have
We
had that
didn't go
problem.
over any bridges though, did we?
Yeah, we crossed Mississippi River twice.
Well, yeah. No long bridges like you were down
Well,
on
no,
Baton
not no
Rouge.
big curves in 'em.
all right, guys, if you good with it, if y'all good with it, no other discussion, do I have a motion? Excuse me, a motion, we make the recommendation?
Recommendation.
All Got a motion by Eric, second by Bird. All in favor? All opposed? All right, motion carries 4-0. All right, we'll
And,
make
and,
that
and if,
recommendation.
so I talked to Dustin. If the jury approves it next week, then can we get it approved to where we can go ahead and place order now so we get in the mix? We won't accept till next year, but
Yeah, let's get the ball rolling. We just don't want to be left without a truck at no point in time.
and he
You know what I'm
said,
saying?
once we take possession of the new truck, then we have 60 days to turn in the other truck.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay,
We'll
good.
be able to
We'll
swap
have two
everything
trucks
out.
still enough.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't
enforcement
want.
officers do we have? Two?
All right, item 17 is to discuss a herbicide truck.
We're gonna postpone that for another day, right?
Yes, sir. Going to table by Bird. A motion by Bird to table, a second by Bruce. All in favor? All opposed? All right. Item 18, discuss pug mill installation delays.
We had our pug mill delivered, and we had a contractor in place to come out and work, and they came out and began. They spent 2 days working and realized that there was an error, there was an issue. So they communicated with the manufacturer, and the manufacturer got their engineer on the phone, and they realized that they had built it wrong. So we had to hire they sent a truck, and we had to hire a crane to load those two pieces on the truck, send it back to Tennessee. They have an estimated 3-week turnaround, but we'll see it when we see it. It may be that. And so our contractor, that tells you about the bill. Well, now we have another issue and the company has agreed to pay for the crane to load it, and then when they bring it back to unload it. So they're going to assume that charge. We're going to pay it, and they're going to reimburse us. Well, the contractor set aside, he blocked out 2 weeks to come do our job. Well, he mobilized, he came, he rented a lift, he came out to do it, and then now, through no fault of his own, he's out. He's going to have to, he had to then fill his schedule back up, which he can do that. But he's going to have to come back and, reassemble everything, load his tools, and, get another crane. So he sent us a letter to say, this is what I'm out. And so I'm just really trying to just tell everybody what's going on, get on the same page. And we feel, when I had a conversation with the owner of Pug Mill, and I told him about the cranes, and he said, yeah, we'll assume that cost. And I told him, I said, look, I haven't talked to the contractor yet, but, they're going to be out something too, and he didn't feel that that's any fault of his. And he didn't feel that that's something he should pay. So I asked them, how they felt about it, and to write us a letter stating kind of their position. So Bill has it, and Bill's going to,
How much money is it?
$6,000. Is what he feels that he was out, or should be in addition to his contract for what he's experienced. And I just hope that when we get it back, there's no other issues. We don't know, but that's where we are. And Bill's going to write a letter to the Pug Mill Systems. And I don't know what you're going to say, but
I'm gonna demand some money.
They
So-
should cover that cost, but it's not
It
the
ain't our fault.
contractor's issue. It's not our fault. It's not his fault. I mean,
that's right.
It's absolutely there.
it's a costly mistake for them.
So,
That's it.
Now watch their measurements next time.
Exactly.
so everybody knows where we are.
Yeah.
But now with that, I'm just curious. So how are we gonna pay them, the contractor, that amount upon receipt of an invoice, and then we will get it back from Pug Mill?
Right.
Okay.
That's a bill question. and I added-
You feel that's
We've
fair?
got an obligation to contractor.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that, because they were out, and he didn't make waves about that. I asked about it because I felt that was the right thing to do. And I wanted to get it acknowledged by Pug Mill up front. Yeah, okay. So I could tell them that we will cover that expense.
Yeah, what we need is for him to send us an invoice from Magnolia.
Okay.
So we got some documentation to support the disbursement.
Okay. That's really it.
All right.
Everything else out there is ready.
All the other parts look like they may fit.
I was tickled looking at it on the ground. I was ready to see something.
Hey, what
Ready to see
part
something
didn't fit?
flying.
What part didn't match?
The output side, the pug mill itself was built too short. But I mean, it would stand, but to get that stacker up underneath that, where it falls out, it has a shield around it and it's too short. So when it goes to swing, it would catch. So they needed to raise it up. I'm gonna say 6 inches. I'm not their engineer. I don't know, but I don't know why they couldn't have just built us some legs to slip up under it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Other than that, everything's out there. The electrical's been run. It's in place. The only thing we're going to need to do is when we get it in place is have electrician come out and run it from our panel underground to the pad, which that's nothing. And then on the hopper end, we're going to have to build a ramp.
Any idea on that cost?
Ramp?
Yeah. Have you talked to anybody yet?
I think we'll do it. We can do it.
Okay.
Yeah, they need dirt.
Dirt and oil sand.
We
There's
should
some
have
oil
oil,
sand
plenty of
running.
oil sand there.
Yeah.
Make a good ramp.
Yeah,
Put a little gray rock on.
Yeah. All right, anything else on that item? Any questions, guys? All right, moving on to item 19, discuss a purchase of a loader for the pug mill operations. Mr. Hughes.
I gave it to Bill. They have the state contract. It's $303,000.
Well,
308 available.
will we, so it's 303, you said, okay. And you,
I think it's
We're gonna pay
almost
for it out of
304.
Yeah, 303,875, so almost.
The only thing we did
so
was
it's gonna consume all of the
No,
ARPA?
we got about, what, $4,000 on
And we
that?
should-
That's right.
Oh, it was 308.
No, yeah.
308,000 is what I've got.
I'm
We
just-
got 303.
No,
I wish.
I was sitting here, I got some in that ARPA.
You
Oh, so what you told me,
No.
you pulled a Bobby, you wasn't wishful thinking on it, did you?
Yeah, I thought he said
And I was-
380, but it was 308. Well, we looked for a way to get rid of that other one.
From your office to in here, we already had it spent.
Yeah, we don't spend it. But that'd be good. We got it.
We got it.
Y'all want to see this? That's a cat.
Yeah.
State contract.
On the loader?
Delivery time.
If y'all approve it, they have one. They have one that get to us quick.
Well, I guess in the past, we've had some state contract stuff that took a little while.
Trump's already working.
It's working.
They have one close.
Oh, good.
Now, it may get sold between the other day and next week.
Well, Robert will be happy.
We get his back.
Well, we're gonna need two over there.
I need to get it.
I joke.
I know you are.
Call him, put it on hold.
So,
But that was the ARPA funding that had to be paid for, and we had till December, wasn't it?
After December, this will be, well, with the exception of 5,000, this will totally complete our obligation on the 4,000,005, I think we
Right.
got.
Give me that 5 up on Road District 4.
So let me
What
ask you
about
this,
me?
Bill. On to another, go
Hey.
ahead.
And I ain't got no tax. You got
How
tax.
about,
Well, let them, that's their fault up
how
there.
about,
That's right.
how about the
I mean,
broadband
really,
rent? This is where that,
510.
that's where the difference
Me and
was.
Mr. Pete, we
Right.
need it on our side.
I've got a contract from broadband waiting for an invoice for 510,000.
Okay.
We've signed it. They've not. We signed it and sent it back. I'm gonna have to call those guys about it.
Lexington,
So that's why-
what we're gonna do, it's 502,000, it's obligated. You've already done that. Y'all
Yeah.
obligated back when the foreman was still here. So he got the contract.
Did you come back?
Yeah, we just
Okay.
have to give you authorization to execute it and then,
all official.
so
So-
you decide.
There's
No
no
one
use
can say.
to pay them
No.
until like December
Right.
27th.
Just don't do it right.
But the extra 300 that just come available is from the grant that we had proposed it come in a little cheaper, so we had a little money left over, so we ended up getting this, right, Bill? Am I
Right.
telling the right
We had
story?
originally allocated $1 million,
We on the last
then we
one.
reduced it to 750,
We on the last
and then
one.
finally it was 5.
Right.
Yeah. So with our savings, we get to buy some
Paperwork.
front end load.
Right.
Front end loader.
Good. All right, any other questions on the, well, I'm going to need a, motion, I need
I'll
a
make,
motion by Garcia,
Second.
second by Byrd. All in favor? All opposed? Make the recommendation to purchase this, loader for the pug mill operation.
Off-state contract.
Off-state let me write right here, state contract. Okay. Moving on to item 20 is operations. Mr. Hughes, you got anything in operations?
No, sir.
Bird, you got anything operation? Anybody? Well, I'm gonna commend, I went out a couple weeks ago, I'm gonna say, and I did spent a little time in the shop with our mechanics. And they showed me what all they had going on, this and that, and talked to them a good while. I like to commend our mechanics. Them guys work hard. They have a lot of knowledge. They have a lot of equipment to work on.
Lots of equipment.
And them guys, they work their tails off over there. But I would just like to commend those guys on a good job they doing for us. And they are looking out for us on savings on different parts from here to there. They really look for the best deal.
That's
Not the cheapest deal,
right.
the best deal.
And,
I know a lot of times we get bills up in here that's for this amount and that amount and this amount. Well, you know, that's high, but they actually, if you look at what they compare it to, they actually save money on those parts. So,
True.
but anyway, I want to commend those guys. And I'd also like to commend our, I'm going to call the guy, zipper crew that goes out and cuts out all these spots out and redoes the patching on it. That crew's doing a good job. They went up on my end and done some patching and did a great job on it. So,
and I'll too publicly say that so everybody knows, and I think everybody does know that. And you're talking about Matt. Matt's the new zipper crew,
yeah.
the new parish crew, and Matt and his little crew, they are doing so good.
yeah.
And every day they're working all day, every day.
Now, you know, and I don't want I don't know who was on the crew before that. I don't want them to take it in the wrong way by no means, but I know there was a change there in those positions, but these guys here are doing a good job too.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Jerry had it before, and Jerry did an awesome job.
Yeah.
Awesome
Yeah.
job.
Where's Jerry now?
2 and 3.
so,
And,
but you know, sometimes when you have changes in your different departments, operators, you see a little change in your end result of your product or whatever you're doing. But it's no change, and it's good work. They doing a good job. But anyway, I just wanted to commend those guys.
And Mr.
Thank
Bill
you,
probably won't shoot me, but as much equipment as we getting, oil changes, we think I get somebody just to change oil in the equipment.
Y'all, I want to bring that up every time. I know nobody wants to hear it, but we have added so much equipment, and we just think about the services that we do.
I said he gonna hate.
Yeah. We can't keep up.
And I'll say this.
All that parish-wide equipment falls back on our sales tax.
Right.
Mhm.
And I say this, I had a discussion here a few days ago about that. A lot of people don't really realize how much equipment that we have.
That's right.
So whenever that equipment is up, I'm just going to use mine for instance. When a lot of that equipment's up on that north end, a lot of people don't know that equipment comes down here to get serviced.
Mm-hmm.
Those road crews don't service them. They bring them all down here. So if you have 9 different districts and you got, not counting your parish-wide stuff, but you got them coming in for them districts that's getting worked on, that's a lot of equipment.
And when they changing
And
oil
we
on something,
We probably have, I know we have an inventory on how many pieces of equipment that we have. And it's triple, 4 times as much as we used to
But when
have.
you bring it in to get service, the mechanics is doing that, or they could be working on something else.
Yeah.
So you pulling away from your repairs.
But don't we have a helper in there in the mechanic shop that we training for some of this? That can take on some of these smaller, maybe stuff?
We do, but he's a helper.
Yeah.
He's not a mechanic. I had thought about maybe asking to bump that position up to a mechanic and
Assistant, hey, a helper can change oil.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They don't
I
need a
can
mechanic
change
to change
Well,
oil.
you can't when you bring a grader in and you're emptying out the case and you're putting in 50 gallons of fluid. You don't know what you're doing. You got to put the right stuff in. I mean, the labor is one thing, but the knowledge is a whole different set of rules there. Every piece of equipment is different.
How often y'all servicing?
What manufacturers say on the new stuff, but it's about 250 hours.
Don't do like we've done.
And that comes quick.
That
comes quick.
$500 a
No
lick.
oil
Yeah.
change, no filters change.
You know it all
A
too
lot
well.
of them going down.
You know it all too well.
They're about to all be changed now.
Yeah, but that's fine.
Yeah, they were.
See,
Well,
when
can
I
you
came
change
here, they
oil?
were using cooking oil.
I know where to
Yeah.
take it to get it changed.
Cooking oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
On
right.
them slides,
What was the force of
yeah,
that truck?
smell like fish when you go up there.
Yeah.
Fish and French fries.
I gave her the paperwork.
Okay,
I want to say 60 something. Oh, yeah.
Isn't that loader?
No.
Do you got anything else in operations? Everybody good? All right. Well, we'll look into next year's budget. Hopefully we'll get some more revenue in next year and there may be some opportunity there, but if it's not, we only can do what we can do, guys. I mean, I know it's good to have plenty of employees, but you only can pay so many,
Yeah,
we have to look at our revenue. I feel, we know some of these districts, our revenues is gonna be down. It's gonna take a hit. But I feel that, there is some stuff in the legislation now that it probably will be in 26 or into 25 before we see that. If it goes through, if it passes legislation. So that may give us open the door for a little more opportunity there for us, the governing small parishes and stuff. So,
We had the other day, I'll just give an example. I think we had 4 graders at the yard. I walked out and looked and, there was a yard full of graders and they were just, most of them was there for service, and that's a couple of days itself, just that. Well, we had, I think, 3 dump trucks down, 1 serious issue that we just got running yesterday. It was almost a complete disassembly. And we chose at that point to stop and not go any further because that's what I talked to Bill about next. I said, "Oh, Mac, next year, let's just stop with this, keep it on the road. Next year, we'll just put that money towards a new motor in that truck."
and you can't go wrong on that deal.
And we can't. And then, but we had a truck there that had clutch issue to be replaced. Well, we would normally do that in the shop. That's something we can do. We never used to do it before, but we can do it now. But often we have to stop and say, what can we do? Or is it going to sit here for 3 months with other things coming in on that? You know what I mean? For us to get to it, or do we send it out? And I know when I'm signing invoices to come up here, I already know that we've done that. I just look at it again and think, shit, that's a whop. And I know Bill gets it up here and thinks the same thing. But like you say, we don't make those decisions just on the fly. It's well thought out. If we send something somewhere, there's a reason we just can't get to it, or there's a reason. Sometimes it's things that we just can't do. We can't do everything. We don't do any electronics.
And sometimes, these mechanics, I brought this, I may have told Mr. Bill about it yesterday. A lot of times if you got an issue with a truck, well, they have the knowledge to fix it, but they'll have to go buy, high dollar tools to do it. And you may not do it, but once every 2 or 3 years, and then the time you're going to spend doing it, you can send it out to a shop and boom, boom, they can have it done because they set up to do it. And then you ain't got a $3,000 piece of equipment sitting over in the shelf that you might use once every year or two, or maybe, you know, 5, you don't know. So I think our mechanics do a good job on figuring out, you know, what's the, you know, most efficient way to do that, you know. So.
You know, it's kind of like in the budget meetings we've had so far, when we get down to the equipment line item, most of what I've said so far, what I believe is we don't need anything. We said that on pretty well every one of them, haven't we?
Pretty much.
And Eric got something, but that's that we needed. But I was talking to mechanics yesterday because we, you know, we have that $10,000 in there like we always do. And there's some things that we need, but the comment they made was, we really don't need that much. And to me, that's just a great feeling to think, okay, well, we're doing budget hearings and we've got a slot that we can put money there, but we don't need it. We've grown that much to where we're sitting pretty good. We're sitting pretty fancy right now.
We come from a 5-gallon bucket full of tubes to what we got.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, 24 has been a good year.
Oh, yes,
Last
it has.
year.
Yes, sir.
I mentioned that. This is impressive.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Well, whenever we visited, Natchez and talked to them, we were talking about our road department and the equipment we had. Those people were impressed. They don't have what we've got by a long shot.
I'm logging in Natchez Parish. We paying for the grader to get out there and grade the parish road.
Oh, Lord.
Well, you know, Eric, I asked him, we had a meeting there. They don't have but 11
Yeah.
road workers to cover that whole parish. So we're very fortunate, man. We're very fortunate. So. All right, guys.
No material on it.
Yeah. There's nothing else in operations, Bobby? All right.
Who's making the motion to
All right.
adjourn?
We
I'll
gonna,
make that one.
Eric. Second by Bruce. All in favor? All opposed. All right. Thank you, guys. Meeting adjourned.
I need to put those in, man.